Welcome to Duckland Stadium for this round 8 NPL clash between the Dandenong Thunder and Port Melbourne. My name is Dean Nair, and alongside me, once again, Matt Sultana. Welcome back to Duckland Stadium.
Yeah, it's nice to be back here on this nice Saturday evening here in Melbourne. Should be a really interesting clash between two sides with a bit of mixed form lately, but definitely two sides that promise lots of goals.
Yeah, fantastic evening for football, Matty. Not too cold, no rain, perfect weather. Should be an interesting game, shouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be really interesting. Two sides who have definitely come off the back of scoring plenty of goals. Obviously, Port Melbourne opening up the floodgates with a 5-1 hammering of Hume City, and obviously Dandenong Thunder with that great comeback last week from 3-0 down to win the Dandenong Derby 4-3 away from home. So I think if there's one thing this game is going to promise, it's lots of goals.
Thunder's last home game was a 2-2 result against Bentley Greens, an entertaining match which we were very lucky enough to call here at Duckland Stadium. Looking for more of the same?
Yeah, I think that game was a bit of a pivotal moment for Vanton Kukari's side because they needed that type of result against one of the bigger teams in the competition, and they were really unlucky that day really not to come away with 3 points. They've backed it up with a good win against Dandy City, and I think for Vanton Kukari it's really all about consistency and keep on picking up the points early in the season.
We'll quickly run through the lineups. For the Dandenong Thunder, they have Piers Clark in goals, Omar Amachi, Ioannis Georgopoulos, Mercer Mehmedi, Peter Skapetis, Brandon Barnes, Kieran Dover, Alan Blomgart, Christian Cavallo, Musgrave, and Luke Gallo. For Port Melbourne, Matthew Symes, Amadou Karoma, Michael Eager, Alan Mokoli, Maker, Daniel Clark, Child Degoe, Valley Sesnick, Kamal Ibrahim, Finn Bakehurst, and Yuta Kunagawa. What are your two thoughts on the squad?
Well, interesting. Obviously, Alan Curley again missing out from Port Melbourne. He's been very solid at the back for them. So I guess that's a bit of a loss. But yeah, look, not too many changes for both sides. You wouldn't expect it coming off wins. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out.
And Dandenong Thunder in their red and black home kit, kicking from right to left, and Port Melbourne in their away kit, all white from left to right. And we are waiting for Bruno to get us on the way on this fantastic evening here in Dandenong South. It'll be Beakhurst to kick us off once Bruno gets us going. Ibrahim high and wide to Sesnick, but Cavallo reads it early, headers it forward. Sesnick, Karoma, Mulcahy has chipped it out, and good early start from Port Melbourne, just trying to chip it up, and it seems to be a tactic in the NPL, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a quick early start from Port Melbourne, trying to get early quickly. It's a very intense game right from kickoff here at Duckland Stadium.
As the ball goes out for a Dandenong Thunder throw-in. Who are you most looking forward to playing tonight?
I think one player to obviously always look out for is Brendan Barnes for Dandenong Thunder. He's wreaked havoc the last couple of weeks, so it's going to be interesting how Port Melbourne deal with him. Obviously, as we know, Bentley Greens, usually one of the more solid teams in the league, really had a lot of struggle keeping him quiet as Beakhurst comes forward here.
Beakhurst tucks inside, beats his man again on the outside, crosses it in, and it'll go out for a corner. Good positive signs from Port Melbourne. Just quickly get your score prediction and winners.
I'm going to go 2-2. I think it's going to be a draw today. I think both sides will get on the score sheet. So, yeah, I'm going to go draw 2-2.
Perfect, Matty. As it looks like Daniel Clark to be coming over to take the corner. Taking his time. Dandenong Thunder against Bentley looked a little bit shaky starting on in the first half, defending the set pieces.
Yeah, set pieces has definitely been an issue for Dandenong Thunder throughout the season. I think they've always looked a little bit shaky as Port Melbourne looked to whip this one in.
Clark to swing it in. Delivers. Cleared again by Cavallo out for another corner. There's a bit of words between Eager and it looks like Georgopoulos, but Bruno's come in and intervened. As Clark plays short, Ibrahim beats his man. Ibrahim falls over. Bruno's given a free kick just outside the area. And Adam Pedding is saying it's inside the box. And all the players are streaming over. Matty, your thoughts?
Well, that's really interesting because I think Bruno's saying he's given the foul for the first one, but I thought the first one was inside the box too, so I'm not too sure what's happening there, but looks like the linesman's coming over to consult Bruno here, but it looked like a penalty to me, so I'm very surprised that Bruno's only given a free kick.
And he's very convinced it is a free kick. For me, I thought it was outside the box. I thought it was a free kick. The first foul, it started outside but ended inside the box, so I think it's the correct decision by Bruno. Port Melbourne putting early pressure on.
Yeah, definitely. I think Port Melbourne did really well there. Kamal Ibrahim picking up the short corner and driving forward towards the box. You could kind of see that it looked like there was going to be a foul, and it looks like it is going to be right on the edge of the box there. So Port Melbourne with an opportunity early here to take the lead.
Just a poor start once again from the Dandenong Thunder. Last week they went 3-0 down. It's not something you want to give teams head starts.
Yeah, so slow start seems to be the running theme with Dandenong Thunder, especially over the last 2 seasons. So they've definitely got to overcome that mentality and start a little bit quicker.
Ibrahim leaves it. Shot early. Goes to Clark. Save by Pierce Clark. Obviously 2 Clarks there, so Daniel Clark left it and Pierce Clark saved it. Daniel Clark comes over to take the corner and whip it in. Clark whips it in. High. Pierce Clark punches. And Skapetis has got a bit of space to send it forward to find Barnes. Barnes flicks it. And Gallo doesn't contest too strong. Georgopoulos eager. Bit forward, finds Daniel Clark once again. Kaganawa now in behind. Clips it in. But no one for Port Melbourne in the box as Omachi comes away. Tussling with Sesnick, but it's played. Kieran Dover. Thunder have got numbers streaming forward. And Dover happy to go backwards. The Bloomgut to Gallo. Scarpetti's just not strong enough. Maker gets in the way. Thunder happy to go all the way back to Pierce Clark. Mehmedi sends it line. Gallo just leaves it for Scarpettis, who plays Gallo again, and Gallo lightning quick. Gets played on. Still inside the... Goes himself. Just got no one in there. Tries to find Scarpettis, but Port Melbourne escape. Good chance there for Dandenong Thunder.
Yeah, and that's where Dandenong Thunder are their most dangerous, really in those transition moments. They look to get the ball as quickly as possible as Brendan Barnes picks up the ball on the edge of the box.
Barnes tries to find Dover, but it's intercepted extremely well, and the ball go out for a Dandenong Thunder throw-in. Thunder looking very dangerous on the counter-attack. Gallo and Bruno should have a word to Alan Mulcahy here.
Yeah, I think Dandenong Thunder, the strength is definitely in those transitions and on the counter. And it's going to be really interesting because although Port Melbourne have struggled early to score goals, they've got the second best defence in the league. So second least goals conceded this season. So it's going to be interesting to see if Dandenong Thunder can break them down on those transition moments and look to get goals that way.
Thunder happy to go all the way back to Clark. He's got Cavallo out here on the wide. Clip and Escapetis chasing with Maker. Symes will send it high and long. Mehmedi wins. Musgrove. Ball plays out wide. Kaganawa tries to find Valley Sesnick, but Clark well off his line as a sweeper keeper. He will throw Cavallo, who's got a bit of space. And so far you can see the game is extremely open, especially in the central areas, as Scarpettis has the ball out here on the left. Gallo. Bloomgut. Fouled by Inbrood. As I was just saying, Matty, there's a lot of space in the middle of the park. It's Not like with the Bentley game where it was very compact and very hard to break down.
Yeah, it's very open, and I think it's probably a result of how Port Melbourne are defending. They're defending in a 4-4-1-1, and I think that allows for a lot of space in the central channels, especially for the Dandenong Thunder centre-backs to drive into that space. So I think there's going to be a lot of space in this game, and it's going to be a very open game today.
Symes tries to find Digowie. He's done well. Beakhurst. Port look to break. Finds Sesnick. Has a good touch forward. Tries to beat his man. Still got possession. Kaganawa. Sesnick. Beakhurst. Beakhurst strike. Clark saves comfortably, but a little bit better by Port Melbourne.
Yeah, good little breakaway there from Port Melbourne. Valley Sesnick showing his good pair of feet that he's got on him to connect with Ute Konagaya and break down Dandenong Thunder there, but it was really a tamed effort in the end by Finn Beakhurst.
As Clark goes high and long, trying to find Barnes. Eager wins the header. And it finds to Ioane Amachi. Dover. Dover obviously playing a little bit wider this evening, as they've got Musgrave on the bench. What are your thoughts on that? Carpenter on the bench. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It looks like Luke Gallo's taken Kieran Dover's spot here on the left wing. And I think last time we were here against Bentley Greens, Kieran Dover was playing more as a 10, and I didn't think it really suited his style. So I think having him further out wide definitely suits him a bit more, and you kind of want him running at defenders 1v1.
Mehmeti. Beats one. Bruno says nothing. Gallo. Finds Cavallo. Cavallo's got numbers in the middle, but it's a poor cross at the end. And Adam Peddink is absolutely fuming with Bruno in that situation.
Yeah, Adam Peddink not happy saying it was a foul there from Mercer Mehmeti on Alan Kearney, Alan Mulcahy, and Dandenong Thunder break away, and really a poor cross in the end from Luke Gallo.
Symes plays Maker. Maker finds Ibrahim in a pocket of space. He finds Karoma, where he takes a good touch forward. Paul Melbourne with not many numbers in the box, but he finds Beakhurst. Sesnick, but Musgrave wins the header. Clark. Ibrahim. Mulcahy finds Kanagana. We'll go back, and Dandenong Thunder very deep here.
Yeah, Dandenong Thunder defending deep as Port Melbourne have really pinned them back with that long switch from Mulcahy out to Karoma.
Ibrahim tries to beat Carp, doesn't win it. Gallo breaks with a bit of pace, and Mulcahy has come across, and it'll be the first yellow card of the evening, and it is the second time Luke Gallo has got the better of Alan Mulcahy.
Yeah, well, in this transition moments, Port Melbourne are really struggling to deal with the likes of Cavallo and Luke Gallo, and they're really being forced to commit fouls. And you just see there, Alan Mulcahy committing another foul and going into the book early. It seems to be something that Port Melbourne are struggling with, is really these transition moments from Dandenong Thunder.
It looks like Thunder this week playing more of a 4-2-2-2. Obviously, no 10 Scapetis is basically playing right next to Brandon Barnes. As Cavallo looks to knock it diagonal to Dover. He brings it down out of the air. Lovely. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely an area that Dandenong Thunder had to figure out was how were they going to get Scapetis and Brendan Barnes to play together, because they are two very similar players in the end, and I think in the earlier weeks that's something that Thunder had struggled with.
As Dover gets the better of DeGoey, and Bruno's given the free kick as DeGoey was holding him. Is a Thunder free kick opportunity for Dandenong Thunder to get players into the box, like Musgrave, who's a big unit. Brandon Barnes obviously very dangerous in these situations.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good positive start here from Dandenong Thunder. Really a good start from both sides. I think both sides have showed some attacking intent and definitely getting forward. So it's been a good game so far to watch.
And Cavallo, who's obviously got such a fantastic free kick or set-piece delivery on him. Obviously, you don't want to be giving away too many free kicks in these areas. Cavallo delivers high. And Maker clears. Ibrahim wins the second ball. Blumgart alongside him, but Ibrahim plays inside the Sesnick. Sesnick just underhit it, and Omachi has done well. And for me, Omar Omachi, these first 8 rounds of the season, playing as a right back, has probably stand out for me, as formerly a winger, has done extremely well to convert to a right back.
Yeah, I think Omar Amachi has probably been one of Dandenong Thunder's best players so far this season. He's kind of been one of the consistents in the squad, and I think he's always played well for Thunder, even when they haven't played well. So I think Omar Amachi has been a great addition to this Dandenong Thunder squad.
As it is a Dandenong Thunder throw-in. Cavallo clears it, but shanks it inside. Musgrave underneath it. And Dover. As Amachi getting around him. An opportunity for Dandenong Thunder to break. There's a lot of space here in the middle of the park. Amachi. One too many touches, but Blumgut finds Gallo. Opportunity now. Gallo comes inside. Gallo finds Blumgut. Blumgut has a shot. Fairly tamed. Scarpetius. Georgopoulos. And Port Melbourne escape. And it was a little bit better, but the final execution for Dandenong Thunder lacking. Yeah,
Thunder just unable to really get a clean strike at that and be able to punish Port Melbourne there. It's a very open game. It's a lot of hard work for the players, and it's quite evident early that Dandenong Thunder seem to be doing a little bit better than Port Melbourne, breaking forward and getting back. And I think Port Melbourne are really struggling defensively to get back and deal with Dandenong Thunder on the counter attack.
Maker sends it high and long. Sesnik just over his head. Cavallo happy to go to backwards to Mehmedi. He'll send it long, and Mulcahy intercepts. Sesnik. Bit of space inside for Ibrahim. Tries to flick back to Sesnik. Kaganawa. Still Kaganawa. Chips it into the post. Mehmedi clears. Falls to Clark. Goes back to Mulcahy. He's got time to space, and there's so much space in the middle of the park. If you're a 6, you'd be enjoying being in there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, good game for a midfielder today. There's heaps of space in the middle. I think both teams are tending to defend a little deeper to try and counteract their attacking options up front. So a lot of space in the middle of the park today. So it's going to be interesting which team can really dominate that midfield area.
As Amachi takes. Got Paul Melbourne with numbers around the ball. Mullers with plenty of space, but he's underhit it, but Karoma gets there. Sesnik crosses it in, and he'll go out for a goal kick. And really, the final ball so far in this game has just been lacking from both sides, hasn't it?
Yeah, both sides really lacking just that killer pass. But it's really interesting. Alan Mulcahy, again, really picking up the ball in space and having plenty of time. I think one of Scarpetius and Brendan Barnes has got to drop in and try and put some pressure on him, because he's able to pick up the ball in the middle of the park, and really he's got acres and space and lots of time to make decisions. So I think Dandenong Thunder need to address that issue.
Clark sends it long. Scarpetius loses the header. Blumgut. Maker up again. Wins it again. Sesnik finds Ibrahim, who is cleared by Cavallo. And really, if you're Clark and Mullers, you try to get Scarpetius to drop in, which he's done now. But how much more space does that give Daniel Clark?
Yeah, well, obviously if you're going to man mark Alan Mulcahy, it means that you're going to have Daniel Clark there free. But I think it's an early change there from Thunder just to try and counteract what Port Melbourne are doing.
Ball put it in. Sesnik finds Beakhurst, but he's headed it just wide. Once again, Beakhurst, not your typical striker to win headers, more of a winger. Obviously, you've got Port Melbourne have Sam Ford on the bench. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think one thing that Port Melbourne have really struggled to replace is that number 9 position. Obviously, last year, the big boy from Queensland, I forgot his last name, but also the first name was Sam. And I think they've really struggled to replace him. They've obviously had Sam Ford playing up there. They've now had Beakhurst, so they've also had Ute Konagawa playing as a false 9. So it seems like they're still trying to figure out that 9 position and who's best suited for it.
And obviously, that big man was Sam Smith,
Yeah.
the Englishman, who was at South Melbourne at the start of the year. Was only there for a short period of time. As Thunder look to play, Mehmedi trying to find Barnes. That's not really the type of ball that you try to find Brandon Barnes, is it? Especially when Port Melbourne is so deep.
Yeah, when Port Melbourne are defending so deep there, you don't really need to be knocking long balls like that. I mean, it's going to be hard for Brendan Barnes to find the space and really keep the defenders off that and try to run onto that ball. So, yeah.
Mehmedi wins the header. Gallo up again. And Scarpetis just can't get there. Pitch isn't wide enough. Dandenong Thunder's pitch looking in great condition. Obviously one of the bigger pitches as well in probably Victorian football. Do you reckon that suits the teams like Dandenong Thunder?
Yeah, I definitely think it suits Thunder. I mean, obviously, the history of George Andrew Reserve in the past is, hasn't always been the best ground, but Dandenong Thunder have done really well to get the ground up to a good standard and keep it there.
As De Goey has just played it straight out, and I think a bit of a rotation there just didn't go to plan for Port Melbourne. But you can see it's the right ideas.
Yeah, definitely. I think Port Melbourne are a very proactive team, and they definitely like to move the ball around and get players in between those lines and into the half spaces and receiving there. So it's I think Port Melbourne are definitely one of the more proactive teams in the league. But one of the things they have struggled on this season is scoring goals. Obviously, last week the floodgates opened and they did put 5 past Hume City, but you can just see again today, in that final third, they're just a little bit not ruthless enough, and a little bit careless. So it's something that Port Melbourne need to continue to address.
And if you were Veton Kokori, what would you say to your team before the game this week? Obviously, conceding 3 goals early last week, would it be more try to get into half-time 0-0 or even 1-0, 2-0 up?
Well, I think for Thunder, they just got to be more switched on defensively. I think sometimes they have these lapses in concentration and they really concede just silly goals, and they've really got to stop conceding the silly goals because it's what hurts them in games. They can score goals, but sometimes they just concede far too many. But I think it's been a good start here by Dandenong Thunder. They defensively, they're sitting deep, they're compact, they're communicating, they're organising. So I think it's been a better start from Dandenong Thunder this week.
Ibrahim finds Clark with a bit of space. Clark decides to have a shot, but it goes way over Pierce Clark's goal and has been a good conversion if we were playing rugby. Clark sends it long. And we really haven't seen much of Brandon Barnes this evening, have we?
Yeah, Barnsley's had a bit of a quiet one early in this game. I think that's probably a result of Port Melbourne defending so deep, and as Port Melbourne win the ball back here. Yeah, but he's had a quiet first half so far.
Blumgut. Gallo. Ibrahim does well defensively. Nutmeg, but loses possession. Georgopoulos has underhit that, and Kagagawa can break. But Hamachi does well. Port Melbourne's bench obviously got a bit of experience, a bit of youth. Sam Ford and obviously Munez there as well. Who are your likely subs to come on later in the game?
Well, I think that all depends about how the game goes. But obviously having Jonathan Munez and Sam Ford, it's a little bit of depth there for Port Melbourne. But I think Dandenong Thunder also have good depth. They've also got Madafri, Jake Kashiri and Blake Carpenter to come on. So there's plenty of options off the bench for both sides. As
Clark breaks his sit into the box, Clark trips over his own feet, but it goes out for a corner. And Port Melbourne looking dangerous there. And I think that's a moment of lapse where you say Dandenong Thunder, you can't really allow someone to run from 15, 20 yards outside the box into the own defensive box, is it? Yeah, definitely. And you just see here again, it's a quick corner and they weren't switched on there, Dandenong Thunder, and they've allowed Port Melbourne to receive the ball again. They've just exceeded another corner. But yeah, it's these little lapses in concentration that seems to let them down in games. As Kamal Ibrahim has gone over and taken the corner. Delivered. Cleared away. Blumgut. Just a poor touch. Still Ibrahim. Cuts back onto his right. Delivers in. Clark has just waved at it and has gone out for a goal kick. And Ega stays up. If Blumgut got out there out of his feet, he could have played Kieran Dover and Dandenong Thunder were 2v1 at the back. Well, it's actually interesting. I think Dandenong Thunder, I think Port Melbourne were actually 1v1 in the back there with Brendan Barnes. So if Alan Blummer got that ball at the feet, he was looking for that long pass early. And just you saw there, a really strange moment for Port Melbourne to go 1v1 with Brendan Barnes on halfway. Piers Clark sends it high and long. Dover and Karoma tussling. Scarpetis does fancy footwork to get out, and it's still Scarpetis. Scarpetis goes to Amachi. Great footwork there by Peter. Still Amachi. Thunder got numbers forward. Amachi clips to the back post, and he is offside. A little bit better by Dandenong Thunder once again to have numbers in the box.
Yeah, good little feat there from Peter Skapetis. I think as the season's gone on, he's definitely gotten better, and he definitely looks a little bit fitter now, as do a lot of the Dandenong Thunder players. I think one thing early in the season that was a concern was their fitness, but Skapetis does definitely look a lot leaner now, and he's definitely more active in these games, and he's been able to stay in these games lively for longer periods of time.
Obviously, that's been one of Peter Skapetis' biggest issues. Always been getting injured and struggling to get 90 minutes of game time for a full season. So hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, he can get his first full season, 90 minutes each week, and get a good season under his belt.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing for Peter Skapetis is just consistency. Like you said, getting those 90 minutes in his legs every week. I think he's been hindered a lot by injuries throughout his career. So I think it's a smart decision to come to NPL and come to a place like Dandenong Thunder to play football and get regular game time.
As Port Melbourne have another corner. Dandenong Thunder have done extremely well so far to defend these. As Ibrahim looks to deliver high towards the back post. Eager heads it across. And Amachi clears. Okay, brings it down out of the air fantastically. Eager delivers, but Clark should collect, and South Melbourne, Dandenong Thunder have got a chance to counter. Barnes. Skapetis. Barnes finds Dover, and he's kept possession. Dover. Georgopoulos. Blumgart. Carvalho. Finds it in over the top for Dover. Dover tries to cross, make American cross. It's a little bit better by Dandenong Thunder. And obviously, if Pierce Clark hit that a little bit better, it would have been 1v1 at the back.
Yeah, once again, Port Melbourne have a corner and they're leaving Maker 1v1 with Brendan Barnes, and it's a dangerous game to play because that's where Brendan Barnes really thrives, with those long balls over the top and being able to just muscle his way through and put himself in on goal. So that's something that Port Melbourne are going to have to address early because it can't continue.
Good into play there. De Goey rises up, wins the header. Only goes as far as Amachi. And De Goey comes across, has cleared it onto the second field, and he's probably scored a goal, to be honest, with the goals over there. Dandenong Thunder seem to be taking control of this game so far.
Yeah, good positive start from Dandenong Thunder. They've really controlled the game really in this opening 25 minutes. So a much improved performance from last week where they're almost 3-0 down at this point. Beakhurst.
Ibrahim. Ibrahim tries to find Sesnik in over the top. And Sesnik will get there first. Sesnik delivers. Mehmeti clears. And then just the space in between both lines for Port Melbourne is just too big for me. As Thunder have found Barnes, who can turn and run at the defenders. But Clark has done well to intercept. Clark finds Mulcahy. Mulcahy chips it in over the top for Sesnik. Once again, Sesnik gets better. Carvalho. Sesnik shoots. Sesnik's just gone wide. Nearly caught Pierce Clark by surprise.
Yeah, Valley Sesnik did well to bring that ball down and drive into the box, and that was really inches wide there of that far post, and a worrying sign there for Dandenong Thunder. Valley Sesnik far too easily getting through on goal there.
And would you say that's because Dandenong Thunder are so deep? It gives that space in behind and in between lines. It's fairly easy. Mullers put that ball down and then just had 40 yards of space just to dink it in over the top.
Well, yeah, Mullers picked the ball up there and Thunder tried to step up, and I think they stepped up too high and they got caught in behind. And one thing you got to watch out with Port Melbourne is they got a lot of pace in that front line. Valley Sesnik, Finn Beakhurst, and Ute Konagawa. There's a lot of quick players in that front line, so you don't want to be caught too high and then leave acres of space in behind.
As Skippity gives away a free kick. No, okay, trying to play quickly, but Bruno brings it back. Obviously, what I was saying before, the space in between the lines for Port Melbourne is extremely big, and it's 4v3 every time, or even not 4v2 in the box. Attacking, surely, if you're Port Melbourne, you want your lines to push on a bit higher, as Thunder break here on the right. Barnes nearly tries to get Blumgart. Barnes, eager, done well, and Kagawa. As I was saying, you'd want your 10 and potentially your 8 to be able to get into the box and give it that extra option.
Yeah, definitely. I think Port Melbourne really rely on their wingers to come inside and fill those lines in between fill those spaces in between the lines. And I think playing with 2 6s is it's always hard to get them into the box when they sit so deep like they are. And I think the reason they're sitting so deep is probably to deal with the fact that Dandenong Thunder have got Skapetis and Brendan Barnes pretty much man-on-man with their two centre-backs. So I think it's more of a cautious approach there from Adam Pitty.
Blumgut. Georgopoulos. Back to Blumgut. Got a space. Finds Gallo. Turns back outside. Georgopoulos. Good bit of possession here by the Dandenong Thunder. Skapetis. Able to turn and play forward. And Skapetis. Skapetis shoots. Finds Gallo. Luke Gallo just Maker has done well to defend that and get in front of Luke Gallo there.
Yeah, good little patch of play and a great little pass there by Mercer Mehmedi straight into the feet of Peter Skapetis, whose shot ends up bundling out to Luke Gallo, who ends up fouling Maker. But one thing early, as you see, is Dandenong Thunder are doing really well moving the ball around and being able to find their front two in between the lines. You know, Skapetis and Brendan Barnes are presenting, and the passes to the feet are hitting every time, and they're able to turn their defenders with ease and create chances that way. So I think Dandenong Thunder, as the season has gone on, have gotten better and better in each game.
Sesnick claims possession. We'll go backwards to Karoma. All the way back to Symes. Well, it looks like Dandenong Thunder aren't pressing. Symes finds Sesnick. Or heavy first touch, Dover wins. Dover tried to get past him, but it's a poor pass, and Skapetis could potentially get in behind as Symes clears. Sloppy there from Karoma.
A little bit sloppy, but Skapetis nearly catching Maker there off that poor back pass. That's an interesting one for Port Melbourne because Maker usually not really a centre-back. Obviously come across from Victory Youth from NPL 2 last season where he predominantly played as more of a 6 and an 8. So I know he's got the size to play centre-back, but it's definitely an unusual position here for as Finn Bakehurst breaks away.
Bakehurst with a lot of space in the middle. And Cavallo's done extremely well to get him back behind the ball and turn it out for a corner.
Yeah, definitely. Another corner here for Port Melbourne. They've had quite a few. They've probably got to start to take these chances on these corners because the last couple of deliveries haven't been that great. So another corner for Port Melbourne and another opportunity to snatch the lead here.
There's Daniel Clark. He's slowly going over to take. Clark taking his time. Clark high. DeGoey with a bit of space. DeGoey tries to whip it back in. Musgrave clears. There's a bit of space if Thunder can get away, but Sesnick gets better. DeGoey finds Eager. Eager tries to cut it back. They'll go out for a Port Melbourne throw-in. Thunder, just a lack of communication there?
Yeah, a bit of 6s and 7s there from Thunder on the edge of the box and unable to clear their lines. We've got to be careful here, Dandenong Thunder, because Port Melbourne do these big throws into the box.
They go throws. Eager flicks. Clark claims. And Kieran Dover can break. With a lot of space on the other side for Skapetis. And it's a 3v4. Skapetis making a diagonal run inside. A fantastic ball to find him. But Symes comes out off his line fantastically, and a great play there by the Dandenong Thunder. Yeah, good play, and Dandenong Thunder's centre-backs was stretched so wide there. There was so much space in the middle. They're really struggling to deal with Brendan Barnes and Skapetis in these transition moments, and it's definitely an area that Dandenong Thunder have done well in this game. Gallo finds Georgopoulos. Maker clears. Blumgut brings it down. Georgopoulos. Musgrave. Blumgut. Mehmedi. Mehmedi just tries to send it long. Skapetis flicks. Brandon Barnes with a bit of space. Brandon Barnes 1-on-1. Brandon Barnes has just shot it wide. A fantastic opportunity for the Dandenong Thunder.
Yeah, great little flick on from Skapetis there after the deflected pass from Mercer Mehmedi, and Dandenong Thunder's inches away from taking the lead. Brendan Barnes on his left peg. You'd fancy him from there, but just hits it a little bit wide, and I think your heart would be sinking if you're on the Port Melbourne bench because that one was inches away.
Fantastic bit of play there by the Dandenong Thunder as Omarchi gains possession. And as this half has gone on, Dandenong Thunder just starting to get their foot on the ball a lot more and start to create a lot more chances.
Yeah, they're definitely controlling the game, and as that's a poor turnover there from Dandenong Thunder, as we just praise them. But yeah, definitely controlling the game a lot more and definitely moving the ball from one side to the other a lot quicker. They've definitely been a much improved side as the weeks have gone on.
And obviously the last two chances they've had, both centre halves for Port Melbourne have been spread open. And if you were Adam Pitting, you'd be worrying, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're playing against such a lethal front two, it's always dangerous as Finn Bakehurst comes forward here.
Musgrove does well to clear, but the ball falls to Ibrahim. Ibrahim plays out wide. Kanagawa shoots, and it's an own goal by Mehmeti, who tried to clear it, and Kanagawa has just fizzed it across the 6-yard box. Those balls are so deadly, they just turn into own goals as well.
Yeah, a great cross shot there from Ute Kanagawa, which Mercer Mementi ends up tumbling the ball in his own goal. But you just see there, Dandenong Thunder, they had the ball, and it's Omar Amachu who the ball just rolls under his foot, goes out for a throw-in. Port Melbourne go forward and they score off an own goal, and they're the goals that Dandenong Thunder have got to stop conceding. We keep saying it week in, week out, they've got to do something about these type of goals, these silly goals, but they're in total control there, and Port Melbourne really a goal from absolutely nothing, and a good shot cross there from Ute Kanagawa, and Mercer Memeti will be kicking himself that he's tumbled that one in his own net.
Obviously, if you're Dandenong Thunder, you'd be a little bit heartbroken because obviously had a chance to go 1-0 up minutes, if probably 2 minutes before that, and then obviously a chance that I was overhit to find Scarpettis. They've been the better side this half, and to go 1-0 down is just probably not what you want.
Well, yeah, Brendan Barnes had a great chance there to put the 1-0 up, but then they were in total control of the game, and they were moving the ball around, and it was just a pass under no pressure to Omar Amanchu, and the ball went under his foot, and then Port Melbourne regained possession off the throw-in, and they went forward, and then they score really a nothing goal, and it's disappointing disappointing if you're a Dandenong Thunder supporter because they've really been on top in this game.
Obviously, it was a poor clearance as well from Musgrove just to fall to Ibrahim. The second phase was just not there, non-existent for the Dandenong Thunder. As Port Melbourne break again, Kanagawa with a bit of space. And that goal has just sparked a bit of fire into the Port Melbourne belly. Clark, low and hard. Musgrove leaves it. Beakhurst shoots, but Clark picks it. And Port Melbourne is starting to look the better side at the moment.
Yeah, well, a goal does give you confidence, and that's what confidence does. And Dandenong Thunder probably have had a bit of a confidence hit, and Port Melbourne have probably gained a little bit of confidence here. But like you said, it's that first phase and second phase defending. Dandenong Thunder seem to do well in the first phase, but it's that second phase where a lot of these turnovers come from and a lot of these mistakes come from.
Touch by Omarchi. Clark just heads it up high. Cavallo challenges, but Sesnik seems to get the better of him. Valley Sesnik. Ibrahim. Out wide to Kanagawa again. He clips it just on the top of the box. Ibrahim tries to cut it back. Beakhurst. Back to Clark. Clark shoots. Blocked by Mehmeti. And Thunder struggle to clear that once again. And that's just poor defending. Yeah,
poor defending there from Dandenong Thunder, but they've really letting themselves. They've only got themselves to blame really because they've been quite poor. They're walking when they're defending. They're not working hard to get back, and you can't just concede one goal and then almost throw the towel in. So they've got to regroup here and get themselves back into this game.
As Clark sends it high, Maker. Sesnik just wins it. Blumgut tries to find Barnes. He wanted in behind, and Blumgut wanted to play at the feet. Just a lack of communication, just not on the same wavelength.
Yeah, just not on the same wavelength there, and you can just see the Dandenong Thunder players are not quite happy with each other, and they've just got to regroup and get their organisation and get their composure back because they were well in this game before they conceded.
Hager clears. Amachi done well to keep possession. Amachi, Georgopoulos, Blumgut. Sesnik comes it across and wins possession. Sesnik. Cavallo comes across and there's a late tackle, but the referee has not given a free kick. Blumgut finds Dover. Dover's quick feet and has won a free kick as Clark kicks it away. Bruno to have a chat with Clark. pitting. Furious about that challenge on Valley Sesnick. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, although there was no contact, there definitely was obstruction there because Valley Sesnick was definitely well in there, and that obstruction led to them losing the ball. So, yeah, fair shout there from Adam Pittick for the foul.
Georgopoulos. Skapetis. Still Skapetis. He's done well. Cavallo all the way back to Blumgart. And Port Melbourne are just so deep and making it hard, shifting across the break Thunder to find space to break the lines.
Yeah, definitely. They're trying to definitely restrict the space for Skapetis and Barnes to work in as they break forward here.
Mehmedi wins the header. Blumgart. Skapetis. Blumgart. Dover. Dover gets inside. Mulcahy comes across and wins possession. Karoma. Port Melbourne just need to get their foot on the ball for a bit and just keep possession, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. Just to try to wear down Dandenong Thunder, as that's a risky pass there from Alan Mulcahy, but Michael Eager does well to clean it up. And yeah, I think Port Melbourne, as they break forward here, just keeping the ball, trying to make Thunder work.
Kanagawa. Yutei Kanagawa clips it into the back post. Falls to Sesnick. He's got a bit of space, Sesnick. And Georgopoulos shoulders it back to Clark. Dover. He's got acres of space to run into. Thunder at the moment just struggling to get numbers forward.
Yeah, definitely. Well, they break forward here with Skapetis.
Amachi. Amachi delivers. Karoma flicks it away just from the reach of Brandon Barnes, and if Karoma misses that, it's potentially 1-1.
Yeah, potentially Brandon Barnes was in acres of space there, so Karoma does well to flick that ball away, but I think Dandenong Thunder have calmed down a little bit. They've got the composure back, and they're starting to try and move that ball around again.
Cavallo. Cavallo delivers. Maker clears. Blumgart brings it down. Thunder trying to keep the pressure on the Port Melbourne Sharks defence. Cavallo. Dover. Dover shoots. Very tame effort. And Michael Sames with a routine save down to his right. And a lot better by the Dandenong Thunder. It looks like they've got their rhythm back.
Yeah, definitely. I think that goal gave them a bit of a shock, but they seem to have gotten their composure back now, and they're starting to work their way back into this game. And they really have been, I think, the better side in this half, and they're really unlucky to be 1-0 down, to be honest.
Mehmedi. Heavy touch. Mulcahy just chips it out wide, but it's a free kick, and Bruno decides to have a chat to Mulcahy, who has just hit the deck. Maker clips it out wide to Yutei, who leaves it for Degoe. Degoe delivers. Over the head, Sesnick comes in at the back. Creeped in behind Christian Cavallo and has just hit it over the bar.
Yeah, Christian Cavallo just left the ball there thinking it was going to go out, and Valley Sesnick sneaks in on the inside and nearly buries that chance. That could have been 2-0 and another disappointing goal for Dandenong Thunder to concede. So they get out of jail there just before half-time.
Clark sends it high and long. Barnes gets in front, and Skapetis gets in behind. It's unlucky as Clark finds Ibrahim. Sesnick. Clark. So much space out here for the Port Melbourne Sharks, and Dover's done well to cut that pass off.
Yeah, Port Melbourne trying to move the ball around and find Valley Sesnick in between the lines there. They're probably going to try and ride out this half and keep the ball and keep Thunder working before half time and see if they can pinch another goal just before the half.
Maker. Clark. Oh, good high presser by Dandenong Thunder. Just extremely unlucky, and Port Melbourne get out of it.
Yeah, good little press there from Thunder and a good little patch of play there from Port Melbourne to get out of that press and come away. And then Alan Mulcahy getting the foul down here on the commentary side of the ground. There's not about 3-4 minutes left in this half, so it's going to be interesting to see if Dandenong Thunder can pull a goal back or if Port Melbourne can ride out this 1-0 lead to half time.
Musgrave. Amachi. Mehmedi. Mehmedi's got a bit of space. Georgopoulos. Mehmedi finds Barnes in behind, and he's a bit of space. This is what he loves. Brandon Barnes. Skapetis, no. Cleared by Degoe. And just that quality in that final third once again from the Dandenong Thunder.
Yeah, Brendan Barnes bringing that ball down, but it was tightly marked by Michael Eager, who's done very well this game to try and contain Skapetis and Brendan Barnes, and just a small breakdown to play there for Thunder on the edge of their box just before half-time.
That's Cavallo, fantastic diagonal ball. It's Amachi. Amachi comes inside. Overhit it, but Ibrahim has done well to find Sesnik. There's a lot of space on that far side if Malkay can find Kagagawa. And he does. Yute finds Beakhurst out wide. Kanagawa just poor first touch and Thunder get away. Skapetis. Still Skapetis. Skapetis finds Gallo. Gallo tries to turn. The ball's bobbling around as Maker finds Karoma, who will send it channel. And Mehmedi with heaps of time, and then Thunder, finding those balls, it's just that when they find that ball, it's just that touch that's missing out as they find Barnes.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that Dandenong Thunder have definitely relished is a return of Mercer Mehmedi to his team is definitely given them that extra edge in the back line and giving them the ability to move the ball around a little bit more with a little bit more ease. So it's good to see Mercer Mehmedi back in the side today.
Maker. Finds Karoma. Mulcahy flips it over the top and Beakhurst is in behind. Beakhurst shoots and Clark save. A fantastic opportunity for Port Melbourne.
Yeah, great opportunity for Port Melbourne to double their lead just before half time with Finn Beakhurst breaking down in this down this channel, and Mercer Mehmedi tried to close him down, and Pierce Clark stood tall, and the shot was really right straight to him as Port Melbourne have yet another corner in this game.
Just that ball just wouldn't drop for Beakhurst there, would it? If it fell down potentially a couple of seconds earlier, he could have hit it the first time and gone across the goalkeeper. Yeah,
I think he was kind of waiting for it to sit to hit it on the half volley, but it never really came down for him as Brendan Barnes is having some words with Vincent Kukari here on the sideline.
Clark looks to deliver. Whips it in. Eager wins the header. Sesnik finishes and it's 2-0. And it's Valley Sesnik who's headed it home from Michael Eager who's tapped it across the goal. And Pierce Clark is claiming a free kick, but Bruno's given a goal.
Yeah, Pierce Clark claiming that his shirt was pulled there. And again, we just said just if Port Melbourne could double their lead just before half time, and they have, and Dandenong Thunder would be kicking themselves that they switched off from that corner. It was Michael Eager's header that put it back to the back post, and Valley Sesnik really buries it, and Dandenong Thunder will be disappointed in himself, and Port Melbourne will be ecstatic to go into half time doubling their lead.
As the fourth official has signed for 2 minutes on this board, and Daniel Drinya, Morris, great. They had their first win this afternoon. Thank you, and we appreciate you enjoying our commentary, mate. Cavallo. And Georgopoulos sends it along and over the top. As Symes just taking his time to clear this ball. Symes sends it long. And should be Pierce Clark's. Amachi. Clark wins the ball and Degoe breaks. Beakhurst with a bit of space. Ibrahim. Mulcahy and Port Melbourne happy to keep possession here at the last couple of minutes of this half. Kagalawa. Beakhurst. Clark. Degoe. Devoe delivers, and it's just gone out for a goal kick. And a little bit better possession, patience by Port Melbourne.
Yeah, Paul Melbourne doing really well there to get the ball wide and to go really just overhitting that cross. But one thing that was definitely an issue for Port Melbourne earlier this season was goals, and it definitely seems like they've addressed that issue because this is now 9 goals in 3 games. So I think the floodgates are definitely opening now for Port Melbourne this season.
Skapetis. Fails the flick. Blumgut finds Dover. Skapetis. Maker has done extremely well to win the ball, but Bruno's given a free kick for Maker sitting on the ball. Skapetis pushes him, and then Ibrahim's coming across, and really unnecessary from Ibrahim, wasn't it?
Yeah, unnecessary there to get stuck in there, but yeah, Maker just playing with the ball on the ground, obviously putting himself in danger. So a free kick here for Dandenong Thunder.
Potentially the last opportunity for the Dandenong Thunder to get something from this half. Carvalho delivers it, and it's a poor cross, and Bruno blows for half time. A very interesting first half, Matty, aside of 2 halves, a half in each half. I guess Dandenong Thunder started off brightly, but Port Melbourne scoring a goal and then obviously pitching a second late in the half. What were your final thoughts on that half?
Yeah, I think Dandenong Thunder maybe had some of the better play, but Port Melbourne also did really well. But I think Port Melbourne, in the end, they took their chances in this first half, and Dandenong Thunder haven't, and that's really been the difference here in this first half. So a big second half ahead.
Thank you for joining us in that first half. We'll have a short 15-minute break, and make sure to join us for the second half here at Dockland Stadium between the Dandenong Thunder and the Port Melbourne. proven it not only against Bentley at home, but obviously last week against Dandenong City. Do you expect them to probably find third and fourth gear this evening and take this game by the scruff of the neck?
Yeah, I think if they apply themselves well enough, they've definitely got the ability to well and truly get themselves back in this game, as they've proven over time. It's just a matter if they can stay concentrated, especially defensively, to not concede any silly goals that would kill off this game. So the next 15 minutes are vital for Dandenong Thunder.
As Eagle wins the header nice and strong. Kanagawa brings it down out of the air and goes inside. Still Kanagawa. Bakehurst. Back to Clark. Mulcahy finds it on over the top for Sesnick. He's been taken off behind play, and it will be a free kick back in the middle of the park where Mullers is holding their leg. And Brunner's given the free kick. Thoughts?
Yeah, Pettis just cleaning up Alan Mulcahy there, and obviously Bruno bringing back for the foul. And interesting, I don't think there's been a yellow card dished out. It was quite a late challenge there on Alan Mulcahy early in this game.
Make sure to keep your comments coming through. We are live and interactive on this Facebook stream, so commenting, asking any questions, we'll try to answer them throughout the half. Marinos Panaya, fantastic game this afternoon. Obviously playing as a number 9 for Barmara Sharks, so great shift. As Clark looks to deliver high, and it'll go out for a goal kick. Pretty poor delivery.
Yeah, poor delivery from Daniel Clark, and I think set pieces, despite scoring off them, Port Melbourne had a lot of them in the first half, and they seem to overhit a lot of them. So something for Port Melbourne to improve in is definitely on these set pieces, just to really whip them in instead of floating them well high.
Blumgut. Let's do a bit of fancy feet. Cavallo not on the same page, and we'll go out for a Port Melbourne throw. Musgrave will send it long to Barnes. Barnes. Just unlucky. This, if you really think back to the 2 weeks ago when Dandenong Thunder played home against Bentley, the difference in intensity levels, it just proves that if Dandenong Thunder probably take it up a notch, they'll be able to run all over Port Melbourne, because Port Melbourne are very slow and pretty much playing in first gear as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think Dandenong Thunder have got to lift the gear here in this second half if they want to pull themselves back into this game, as Brendan Barnes looks long to Skapetis.
Eagle wins the header, and then Clark wins it. And Port Melbourne just at the moment, just every time the ball goes forward, seem to have 2 or 3 players around the ball, as Clark clips it diagonally, as Cavallo will send it line. Okay, comes across and clears it out. But as I was saying, every time the ball goes forward, it seems like Port Melbourne have got 2 or 3 players around the ball.
Yeah, definitely. I think Port Melbourne are really breaking well, and they're breaking in numbers, and they're definitely trying to obviously catch Dandenong Thunder out here and try and get that third goal and really kill off this game here at George Andrews Reserve.
Eager. Dagoe. Eager. Maker. The flick, but Mehmedi reads it well. Georgopoulos, poor first touch. Ibrahim. Musgrave. Blumgut can bring it down and play. Clark sends it forward, and Port Melbourne once again with numbers around the ball. And Port Melbourne have started the better of the 2 sides in this half.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've definitely started better of the 2 sides, controlling the game, moving the ball around, finding those plays in those pockets of space. So they've started really positively here in this first half, and it really shows.
Kanagawa. Musgrave clears. Kanagawa. Kanagawa still. Kanagawa shoots, and it's just gone over the bar. And he's claiming for a corner, but it's gone out for a goal kick. Great opportunity to out of nothing.
Yeah, difficult angle there for Yute Kanagawa, who finds it on his left foot, and really a thumping strike just over the bar. And although he calls for a tip on Clark's hands. It's a goal kick, but Yute Konagawa really showing why he's one of the better players in this competition, especially in and around the box.
As Clark looks to pack it up and send it long. Skapetis gets underneath it. Beakhurst flicks over the top as Ibrahim's got a bit of space. Kamal Ibrahim. Ibrahim crosses it across the wall, but Musgrave clears it out for a corner, and Dandenong Thunder really struggling to get a foothold in the second half.
Yeah, they've started slow here in this second half, and Port Melbourne have definitely started the better of the two sides, and another chance, another corner here for Port Melbourne as they really look to push for that third goal.
Ibrahim to deliver. Goes through everyone and falls to Maker's feet, and potentially a good opportunity for Port Melbourne to make it 3 and kill off the game.
Yeah, Kamal Ibrahim whipping that ball in, and it just avoided everybody, and Maker, it just ended up coming off his knees really in the end, and a dangerous moment there for Dandenong Thunder. You don't want to concede a goal like that.
And really, these long goal kicks really haven't come off this evening for the Dandenong Thunder. Just kicking it, and it seems like Port Melbourne seem to win it every time.
Yeah, definitely. Every time they knock one of these balls long here, as Kieran Dover's in on goal here.
Dover's got the better of the goalie. Dover fizzes it across the box. Skapetis comes into the back post, and it's house hit it wide. And if that was on target, that surely would have tested Symes.
Yeah, big long ball there to Kieran Dover. He cut it back, and Skapetis did well to hit it first time, and just wide there, and really an opportunity out of nothing for Dandenong Thunder to pull themselves back into this game as Port Melbourne look to play this goal kick short.
Symes. Maker just sends it along, and Mehmedi underneath it to win the header. Georgopoulos puts it back into danger. Mehmedi does extremely well. Blumgart. Georgopoulos. Still Georgopoulos, and he wins the free kick. Looks to play quickly, but Clark gets in front of it. Cavallo. A little bit more urgency sort of coming now from Dandenong Thunder. That chance probably spurred something.
Yeah, Brendan Barnes and Kieran Dover just telling their players get the ball forward and stop playing backwards. And a bit of a spur of energy here from Thunder as they look to get themselves back into this game.
Georgopoulos. Dover. Blumgart. A little bit behind Cavallo, but still opportunity to deliver. Poor cross in. And Sesnick has done his defensive duties. Koroma wins a goal kick. A little bit better by Dandenong Thunder with a bit of a press. Symes taking his time to come across and take this goal kick. If you were Veton Kolkeri, would you look to bring on Blake Carpenter anytime soon?
I think Thunder have shown some positive signs, but really they've lacked a little bit of quality in that final third. So I think a change will do them good here, and bring somebody on that can just kind of add a little bit of quality in that final third and maybe try and create something for them as Port Melbourne come forward here.
Sesnick. Cavallo's done well to win a goal kick. Great challenge. And Daniel Isaac has lifted his flag for the first time this evening, calling a probably signal to Bruno that the ball's moving. So, well done, Daniel Isaac. Obviously, a young referee linesman, not long left in this league, moving to Queensland for uni reasons. So, we wish him all the best. As Dandenong Thunder with Gallo loses possession. Beakhurst finds Ibrahim, and Clark bursting forward. Clark finds Konagawa. Konagawa delivers to the back post. Beakhurst rises over the top, and it'll just go out to Gallo. And just very slow at the moment for that Dandenong Thunder, isn't it?
Yeah, just a lack of urgency to get forward, really, and real sloppiness that you see there, nearly giving the ball away. Yeah, I think there's a lack of urgency from Dandenong Thunder to assert themselves in this game.
Amachi has done well. He's just overhit it. Back to Symes. And just once again, that final ball.
Yeah, that final ball just lucky really for Dandenong Thunder, and you wonder when Vincent Kukari is going to go to his bench and maybe make a change to try and create something here in this second half.
Cavallo knocks it. Finds Dover. Dover beats his man inside. Goes back outside. Dover delivers, but the goalie has done extremely well. Now goes out for a throw-in. Hamachi. Still Hamachi. Early throw-in. Tries to find Dover in the bit of space, but the goalie clears. Mehmedi's got a bit of space as Beakhurst applies the forward pressure. Musgrave. Fantastic first touch to beat one. Plays the ball out wide to Gallo. And Cavallo gets around. Cavallo being brought down, and Bruno's given a free kick, and a sloppy free kick to give away by Maker.
Yeah, it's a poor challenge there from Maker. Didn't even come close to getting the ball. He really just took Cavallo out there, who was really closing him down very quickly. And yeah, a poor challenge there on the edge of the box. And they've got some deadly set piece takers down on Thunder, so it's going to be interesting to see who takes his set piece and what they can do with it.
It looks to be Peter Scarpetis, and obviously Brandon Barnes behind the ball. This angle sort of suits Scarpetis, you would rethink. Yeah,
you think it suit the right footer, but obviously Barnes has got a deadly left foot too, so it could really go to either way, this one.
Barnes leaves it for Scarpetis. Scarpetis strikes straight off the wall, and I think it's come off Savali Sesnik's head. Barnes delivers. Hamachi rises. Ball falls to Gallo. Gallo first touch forward. Beats one, beats two. Luke Gallo crosses in low, but Maker in the right position to clear. Blumgart comes forward and he's overhit it. And a waste of a chance from the Dandenong Thunder there.
Yeah, poor turnover there by Alan Blumgart, who just struggles to regain possession in that transition moment and just kicks the ball straight out. And they're the moments where I think Thunder are lacking. And I think one word to definitely describe Thunder this game has been flat. I mean, compared to 2 weeks ago when we were here last time, Dean, there was definitely a lot more energy about them, and they just seem a little bit off the pace tonight, and it's quite evident in how they're playing.
Ibrahim finds Sesnik in behind. Valley Sesnik takes a touch. Sesnik goes to the byline, cuts it back, it nearly falls to Ibrahim, but cleared by Musgrave. And as you're saying, that urgency, would that come, I guess, you always get up when you're playing a team like Bentley. You want to beat them. Obviously, reigning champions is the best team in the league. And obviously, do you reckon they've fallen to Port Melbourne standard this evening?
I don't know so much if they've fallen to Port Melbourne standard, but I just don't think they've just been flat, and they really haven't played with a lot of urgency. And of course, when you play a team like Bentley, you've got to play with urgency. Otherwise, you're probably going to cop 5 or 6. But just a really flat performance from Thunder so far in this game. They're just lacking that energy, lacking that intensity. They're not winning the 50-50s. They're not doing what makes them a good side. So, strange performance so far here by Thunder. But in saying that, I think Port Melbourne have been quite good tonight in being able to punish Thunder and being able to break quickly and punish the mistakes that Thunder have made.
As Bruno has pulled aside Camille Ibrahim for having a go at him, for saying it was not a corner and went out for a goal kick. So Bruno just having a word and just giving him his final word. And Mehdi does well. But ball just goes straight to Symes, and Dandenong Thunder really haven't looked dangerous at all up front.
No, definitely not. And I think a change should be imminent for Vincent Kukari. I think he's got to change something in that front line to spark some life into this team. They've just really struggled to assert themselves here in this second half, and I think a change will do them well.
Scarpetis. Gallo leaves it for Cavallo. Good interplay. Cavallo gets into the box, cuts it back to Dover. Dover shoots, blocked, and the ball falls to Georgopoulos, who hooks it out for a throw in, and a better chance by the Dandenong Thunder. But once again, that final ball, it seems to be the same thing every week.
Yeah, just a lack of quality there in that final third from Thunder, which has really been the story of their night so far in this game. And they've got to do something to draw themselves back into this this contest here, because the fear is that it's all, when they do get themselves back into it, it's going to be all too late and it's going to be far too much work to do. So as the clock runs down, they've really got to get some urgency about them and really assert themselves a little bit more in this game.
Speakers kicks it out for a throw in. Dover. Just once again, Dover and Barnes are on the same wavelength. Kanagawa does extremely well to beat him, but Georgopoulos does well. Ball in over the top, but Maker controls it, and Barnes brings it down. Barnes shoots from distance, but just wide, and you just never know with Brandon Barnes. They might go in, they might not.
Yeah, he turned left, turned right. You never know with Brendan Barnes when he has a pop from there. That one goes wide, but we've seen plenty go right in the top corner. So I think Brendan Barnes just taking it on himself there to try and get his side back into this game as Dandenong Thunder actually prepare a substitution right now. It actually looks like Dandenong Thunder have prepared Jake Kashiri here to come on for them as Brendan Barnes breaks away here.
Eager clears. Mehmedi wins the header. Ioannis gives away possession. Kanagawa finds Clark. Daniel Clark. Kanagawa. Out wide to Ibrahim. Finds Kanagawa again. To the byline. Cuts it back. But Cavallo clears it, and it goes out for a corner. Great opportunity for the Port Melbourne Sharks to get a third and potentially put this game to bed, but you can never say never with the Dandenong Thunder side like this. Yeah,
you can never say never, and Port Melbourne had plenty of corners in this game, and they've only been able to capitalise on one of them. So a great opportunity here to capitalise again and get that goal that's really going to kill off this game.
Cleared away by Musgrave, and Gallo can break. That's a bit of a 3v3 situation coming now. Gallo, space out wide, he finds Dover. Dover holds onto it to Scarpetis. Scarpetis finds Barnes. Brandon Barnes puts it back onto his bike. And it's calling for a handball, and it's gone out for a corner. And the Dandenong Thunder fans, and even Brandon Barnes appealing for a handball, and it was an opportunity for the Dandenong Thunder to bring one back.
Yeah, Brendan Barnes getting the ball on his left foot from a through pass from Peter Skapetis, and it didn't quite sit nicely for him, but he gets the shot away, and big appeals from Dandenong Thunder for a handball there as they now have a corner as Bruno has waved that one away.
As the change comes, and it's Jake Kasheri coming on, and the board doesn't see, but it looks like it's going to be number 17, Blumgart. And it is, yeah, it's Blumgart coming off, and Jake Kasheri coming on like-for-like plays.
Yeah, probably like-for-like change there as Alan Blumgart comes on, Jake Kasheri comes on. Probably some extra legs in the midfield as Thunder look to push forward in this game and pull themselves back into it.
Dover to take. In swinger nice and high. Musgrave heads a bit of a push. Up in the air. Mehmedi wins the header, and it just goes out as Sesnick keeps it in. Sesnick brings it back onto his right foot and happy to keep possession. Maker, Sesnick. Good bit of football there by Port Melbourne. Get away, and Marchi taps it back to the new boy, Kasheri. Clark plays Mehmedi now with the left space, and you can see Port Melbourne setting up into pretty much two banks of four as Barnes gets in behind. Brandon Barnes, Brad the Buck strike, and a fantastic save by Matthew Symes to his left. A fantastic opportunity by Barnes.
Absolutely big save there by Matty Symes to keep his side in this game. Brendan Barnes got the better of Maker and got the shot away on his left foot, and Symes was up to the challenge and made the save as Brendan Barnes has stayed down here, and he looks like he's in some pain.
And if you're a Dandenong Thunder fan, you'd be absolutely worrying. And even if Veton Kokori, you'd be panicking your main striker, your leader of the team that mainly gets these goals, to come off with an injury.
Well, definitely, Brendan Barnes. Really, he's been a real cornerstone for Dandenong Thunder in the last 3 seasons. He hasn't missed a lot of football, and obviously, I think he's scored well over 100 goals now in 3 seasons. So it's worrying signs to see him down.
As we just wait to see the diagnosis. Adam Pickering having a bit of a word with Valley Sesnick here, having a bit of water. What do you reckon he was saying?
Yeah, obviously, Adam Pickering having some words there with Valley Sesnick. I'm not too sure what was exchanged, but I'm sure it was some information as Brendan Barnes is still down here and still receiving treatment.
Taking a bit of time here. Obviously, will be added on at the end, knowing Bruno. We'll quickly just run through the other games this evening. Matty?
Yeah, obviously, Hume City are currently 1-1 with Avondale, and Green Gully running away 4-0 winner surprisingly against Pascoe Vale. And obviously the biggest, I think, result around so far has been Altona Magic's 3-0 victory at home against Bentley Green. So a big win there for Altona Magic.
And obviously Hume looking good to turn it around. Obviously last week losing 5-1 to Port Melbourne Sharks to be 1-1 at the moment with Avondale, the league leaders who haven't lost this season, as Port Melbourne try to break through the right side, but the ball is overhit.
Yeah, definitely. I think Hume City a bit of an uncharacteristic performance from them this season last week, but obviously they're bouncing back well, obviously holding the league leaders to a draw. As Brendan Barnes has gotten back up to his feet now and is walking, so it does look like he may rejoin us in this game.
Sesnick loses possession. Cavallo loses possession, and Scarpetis does well. Plays a Marchi. Marchi does it for Scarpetti, and Scarpetis has left the foot in, and De Goey wins a free kick. And Bruno not really interested in showing a card, and he's looking towards Brendan Barnes to see if he wants to come on, and it doesn't look like he does.
Yeah, well, it looks like, Peter Scarpetis there. It's probably the second time he's collected someone late in this game, and a little bit surprised to not see him go in the book as Adam Pittick put up the protest there. But it looks like Brendan Barnes is walking around the field and is coming back on now.
As the guy stands over it to deliver. Cleared. And Barnes, 1v1 here at the back. Barnes gets the better of Karoma, but Clark gets in and covers. Symes sends it high and long, and Amachi can bring it down. Amachi does well. Comes inside and just pops into space. Cavallo with the ball now. Still Christian Cavallo. Has Scarpetis behind him, but loses possession. As the ball goes out for a throw-in. Obviously, Dandenong Thunder's next 3 games, Matty, Avondale, South Melbourne, and Pascoe Vale. It's not really an easy run.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Dandenong Thunder with Avondale, South Melbourne, Packer, but they're tough games, those ones. So some difficult games coming up for Dandenong Thunder, but also some difficult games coming up for Port Melbourne, who have Oakley, Altona Magic, and Heidelberg, which are probably 3 sides that are desperately, definitely in Oakley, desperately need a result, and Altona Magic and Heidelberg, who are definitely high-flying this season.
Obviously, Heidelberg had a good win last night, 3-2 over the Kingston. This season, Kingston just haven't really got to their full potential.
Yeah, it looks like Kingston have struggled, and it looks like Brendan Barnes is struggling here, and it looks like he is actually going to come off after that. I won't say a challenge, but obviously that shot with Maker, and he seemed to come off second best there, and he's now been replaced by number 16, Mohammed Fezi.
So yeah, Fezi come on for Brendan Barnes, and obviously Veton Corey, you would hope that Brendan Barnes isn't a serious injury.
Yeah, you'd hope it isn't. If you're Venton Kukari, he's the lead man for Dandenong Thunder, and they need his goals, and they're going to need him next week up against Avondale. That's a real tough game for them. So losing a player like that, it would be devastating for his men.
As Maker's got possession, sends it high and long. Cavallo clips it forward. So, obviously, Port Melbourne playing Oakley next week. Oakley, a team that haven't really found their form this season. Obviously drew 1-1 with Dandenong Thunder on Friday last night. Dandenong City, sorry, with last night. And with Chris Taylor, would you be starting to worry? Obviously, you've got such a good side on paper. They just haven't found each other's wavelengths at the moment.
Well, I think Dandenong City have really struggled this season, and the fact that they took the lead against Oakley was quite surprising. I think Oakley have really struggled to kickstart their season, and you'd probably think there's a lot of pressure now on that side and a lot of pressure on Chris Taylor because obviously they recruited heavily in the off-season. It doesn't seem to be working out for them, and if results continue this way, it's you would probably think that Oakley will probably grow. The concerns will be growing for them, and we may see a potential change there.
And obviously Oakley got the cup as well, so they play next week, and then they've got the cup game against Beau Morris, who are probably an easier opponent to receive in a cup this early on.
Well, that's probably a game that they can use to kind of springboard a bit of form, and they definitely want to obviously progress through their FFA Cup with how heavily they've recruited this season, and that game against Beau Morris I think will be crucial for them as Dandenong Thunder break through here.
As Maker goes back to Symes, he'll send it high and long, and as Ibrahim brings it down, does extremely well, finds Sesnick as Port Melbourne break here on the right. Sesnick delivers to the back post, but Amachi clears and does well. Ibrahim wins a free kick. But obviously, Beau Morris aren't going to be easy. They've got the players like Christian Sarkis, Milos Ridicic, Enes Sivic, some big players in that team.
Yeah, obviously they've got some quality players. I think the difference in intensity is going to be the one that they're going to have to adjust to in that FFA Cup game. But yeah, like you said, I think that's going to be an exciting game.
As Kamal Ibrahim looks to take the free kick. Ibrahim delivers. Clark comes out and collects. He's done extremely well there, Piers Clark. Cavallo. Under pressure with Beakhurst, and Beakhurst nearly gets the ball off there, and Cavallo survives one.
Yeah, Christian Cavallo nearly getting his pocket pinched there by Finn Beakhurst. They're the little mistakes that you don't want to be making when you're playing out from the back, especially when you're trying to get yourself back in this game. But like we said, we're approaching the 75th minute now, and Thunder they've really got to start to assert themselves a little bit more. They've been a bit flat this game, and if they want to get themselves back into it and start pulling goals back, they've got to lift the intensity, and they've really got to start moving that ball a little bit quicker.
As Gallo under hits that ball, and if you're Veton Concoria, it's not something you don't want, but they win possession again. Fazzini, Scapetis. As Georgopoulos tussles Malkay, Sesnick, Konagawa. Yute Konagawa, and Cavallo has done extremely well there to put it out for a corner. And this game, just look at the gaps between the lines, it's just so open.
Yeah, it's a very open game. It's been a very open game, I think, from the minute the first ball was kicked. And I think Port Melbourne have taken advantage of that a lot more than Dandenong Thunder have. I think they've done well breaking forward and been able to break down that Thunder backline, whereas Dandenong Thunder really in the final third have been poor when they break forward. So I think Port Melbourne really, in the context of the game, have probably been the better side, even though maybe Dandenong Thunder have controlled more of the possession.
Port Melbourne put the ball into the box, but it's cleared. And it looks like Port Melbourne are looking to make a change. It looks like Michael Lee's going to come on for Kamal Ibrahim. As Amachi has a heavy touch, but it falls to Kusheri. Kusheri tries to find Dover, but Dover very static at the moment. Marchi wins the header. Eager does well. Still Liga. Eager clips it over the top to Ibrahim. Ibrahim beats his man, but Omachi has done extremely well to hold him up. Konagawa. Mulcahy switches it now to Sesnick, but it's under hit, and Cavallo can break. He finds Scapetis, he's got a bit of space. Still Scapetis, and Dandenong Thunder really have no forward runs going.
Yeah, well, I think Port Melbourne have done well to get behind the ball quickly and force Dandenong Thunder to play backwards and force Dandenong Thunder to make mistakes like that as Ute Konagawa looks to break forward here.
Ute and Beakhurst just not on the right page at all, but once again, Port Melbourne doing extremely well in BPO to get into their shape, set up properly, and make it very difficult for Thunder to break as the ball comes to Carvalho. He brings it down. Christian Carvalho comes inside to Scapetis. Scapetis strikes straight into the hands of Symes, who will, you'd say 9 out of 10 times would save that.
Yeah, definitely another team effort from Dandenong Thunder as Port Melbourne look to come forward here, and I think Port Melbourne have definitely dominated the transitions in this game, have done better in the transitions, and deservedly are leading as Kamal Ibrahim Pauly gives the ball away there.
Krisheri to Gallo. Gallo to Scapetis, who tries to chip it in back to Gallo. It's still Gallo inside the 18-yard box now. Gallo finds Carvalho's lost possession, and once again, very, very sloppy from the Dandenong Thunder as Carvalho still wins possession.
Yeah, very sloppy game, really. Both sides poorly giving the ball away as Carvalho breaks forward here.
Gallo has his pocket pinched, and Mehmeti takes a touch, plays in field. And look how deep Port Melbourne are, just organising and making it very hard for Thunder.
Yeah, Port Melbourne defending very deep, and they look to be running on ginger legs here as Dandenong Thunder are applying a lot of pressure on them, but like you said, defending very deep, almost just in 2 banks of 5 there.
Clark gets away Konagawa as well. Konagawa, but it's gone out for a throw-in. It's going to be a substitution. It's Michael Lee for Alan Mulcahy. Muller's obviously playing in the middle, smart to move over to the side. As it looks like Luke Gallo coming off for Blake Carpenter as well. An attacking change for Veton Conquari.
Yeah, an attacking change, a bit of a strange one. I thought it might have been Kieran Dover coming off. He looks to be walking on ginger legs, and Luke Gallo seems to be actually the spark really in that front line. But yeah, Blake Carpenter's going to come on here and try and give us a little bit of quality now for Dandenong Thunder at final third as Alan Mulcahy is still making his way across the field here as Michael Lee looks to come on.
Zamachi. "12 minutes or so to go left, Matty, and it's really Dandenong Thunder. They really need a goal in the next couple of minutes to make it very interesting."
Well, like we said, you don't want to leave it too late to really assert yourself in this game, and I think that's something that somewhat they have. They've left it a little bit late because that first 15 minutes was really poor from Dandenong Thunder as they look to really get themselves into this game now.
Amachi. Still Omar Amachi. Crosses it in, and just go over the top, and poor execution once again. And if you're Veton Kokori, you look back at the video highlights, and you think how many chances they could have created that just never came to.
Yeah, they've gotten themselves into the final third a lot, but I think it's just been a lack of quality from the players in that front third to create those chances. They have had great chances in this game. I mean, Brendan Barnes had a great chance in the first half. He had a great chance in the second half, but was met by a good save by Matthew Symes. But definitely in the final third, some sloppy play from Thunder has really let them down as Port Melbourne look to make yet another substitution here.
Going to be Sam Ford coming on for Valley Sesnick. And Bruno has told him to hurry up. As Symes, Bruno gets us back underway, and Symes to send it high and long. Musgrave wins a free kick there from the new boy, Sam Ford. And obviously we're into the last 10 minutes plus stoppages, however long Bruno says. I reckon it'll be about 3, Matty. What are your predictions?
Yeah, probably reckon 3, 4, 80 minutes. Hasn't been a lot of stoppages in this game, so Dandenong Thunder now, clock's running down for them to get themselves in this game, and obviously only about 10, 15 minutes left for Port Melbourne to ride out this result.
Cavallo delivers and Eager clears. And once again, Dandenong Thunder with no numbers in the box. Clark. Kanagawa. Sees it out. Kashiri. Dover. Dover diagonal to Carpenter, who's got fresh legs. And it's a good first touch and potentially a soft free kick, but Bruno has given it. Here is a fantastic opportunity for Thunder to get one back.
Yeah, fair. I think a fair free kick there for Dandenong Thunder as they look to break away. And this is a big moment here for Port Melbourne and a bigger moment for Dandenong Thunder. As you see, everyone getting forward and everyone getting back. This is really a critical situation for Port Melbourne to defend here.
Here we go. Fantastic opportunity for the Dandenong Thunder. It looks like it's going to be Peter Scapetis to take to right-footed. As the Thunder fans behind the goal giving Symes a bit of a problem. Scapetis to take. Scapetis hits it low and it just goes wide, and it's a very poor free kick once again.
Yeah, again, Dandenong Thunder not making the best of that set piece there, and I have to say Port Melbourne were well organised there, but really a poor effort there from Peter Scapetis on that shot.
That's where you need someone like a Chris Kulis to whip it in over the wall. Obviously, Chris Kulis has played for both these clubs. 2014, he won Fullback of the Year of VPL. Good times with the Dandenong Thunder. Symes looks to pack it up and send it long. It's potentially brought a bit of snow down with it. But Krishwari has won the header. Mehmedi. Carpenter. Ball's up in the air. Ball's just bobbling in. Sam Ford slaps it forward and Clark will pick it up. Rolls it to Mehmedi. Plays back to Clark. Back to Mehmedi. Really need to get it forward now. It's either do or die. Cavallo. Still Cavallo. Dover. Out wide to Cavallo. Back to Dover. Into the box. And Symes will come and collect. And the Dandenong Thunder aren't really offering anything up top since Brandon Barnes has come off.
Yeah, really another poor effort in the final third and poor decision making. It's been the story of Dandenong Thunder's game this game today, and really Port Melbourne are doing well to just ride out this result and try and go back to JL Murphy reserve with 3 points.
Musgrave. Yuta Kanagawa slide tackle and cuts it off. Hamachi sends it long. Scapetis. Fazzini. Degoe will win the throw in. Kashuri. And the ball's just bouncing. It's Dover. Dover finds Cavallo. No, he doesn't. It's Maker has done extremely well to cut it off. And it's Lee. Lee's kept it in, and Port Melbourne can break here and finish the game off. Beakhurst. Ibrahim. But Amachi intercepts and can break now for the Dandenong Thunder. Finds Carpenter. Fresh legs here, Carpenter. Can he do anything? Carpenter plays it out wide. Dover. Clips it in. Carpenter headers it, but straight in the hands of Symes, and that's a little bit Thunder.
Yeah, it's probably one of their better chances here in the second half, but you just saw Port Melbourne, Adam Pittick telling his boys to keep the ball, and they didn't. They allowed Thunder to break forward there, and a good little cross, and just a bit of a tamed header in the end, but positive signs there from Thunder late in this game.
And it looks like Port Melbourne are going to empty their bench with Jonathan Munoz to come on. The experienced player obviously had that horrific injury last season, so it's good to see him back on the football park. And it's going to be Kamal Ibrahim coming off. So obviously just wasting a little bit of time here.
Yeah, I think Adam Paddock is just trying to run down the clock and slow down the game and allow his men to regroup and re-energise as we enter the last 5 minutes of this game.
Karoma to take, and Munoz straight involved, straight away. Eager, make up, back to Symes. He'll send it high and long. Kasheri underneath it wins the header. Clark brings it down. And Omachi wins it and wins a free kick as well. I think he's indicated 4 minutes of stoppage time to his fourth official. Amachi. Amachi can run into the space in front of him. Still Amachi. Sherry out wide to Georgopoulos. Georgopoulos hasn't been pressured. Georgopoulos runs inside the box. Still Georgopoulos shoots it, bobbles around, cleared. Mehmeti strikes, it bobbles around once again. And the goalie clears, and Thunder's got a little bit of urgency at the moment and getting numbers forward, Matty.
Yeah, Dandenong Thunder with a little bit of urgency late in this game is a long ball through to Sam Ford, and Pierce Clark comes out and headers it clear as Dandenong Thunder nearly failed to clear their lines here.
And a great sweeper keeping there by Pierce Clark. Carpenter has won the throw-in. Lee. Munoz plays Clark. Kanagawa. Degoe. Eager. Degoe. Kanagawa. Much better by Port Melbourne just to play the ball around and being patient. Musgrove comes across and clears it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, good from Port Melbourne to keep the ball, try and keep Dandenong Thunder running and keeping them working as they look to ride out these last couple of minutes and ride out this result here tonight.
Degoe. Lee. Clark cuts it back, and Sam Ford with potentially the miss of the season inside your own 6-yard box. How has he missed that, Matty?
Oh, I'm not sure. Sam Ford, that's a horrendous miss, and that's the second time he's done that this season. He did it against Pascoe Vale early in the year, and I thought that was 3-0 and game over, and we could switch the lights off, but an incredible miss from Sam Ford there.
Kashori comes and plays Omachi. And the ball's intercepted. Kanagawa forward. Sam Ford plays Beakhurst. Beakhurst beats Mehmeti. It's still Beakhurst inside the box. Beakhurst cuts it back, but cleared by Omar Omachi, and that all started from Omar Omachi's turnover.
Yeah, Omar Omachi giving the ball away and allowing Port Melbourne to break through there as Adam Piddock encourages his men to get back as Dandenong Thunder break forward here late in this game.
Dover clips it up to Scapetis. Scapetis loses out, but it falls to Fazzini. Fazzini nearly finds Cavallo, but nothing. And the linesman has indicated 5 minutes of stoppages, Matty, so we've still got 5 minutes to play.
Yeah, I think the fourth official has definitely indicated 5 minutes there of injury time as Dandenong Thunder really have to push here if they want to pull themselves into this game. But Port Melbourne have been excellent in this second half, riding out this result and making the Thunder work and keeping possession of the ball as they look to keep the ball again here.
And Bruno's given a free kick on Konagawa there. As the guy taking his time to step over this free kick and plays Konagawa, and Dandenong Thunder once again sleepy at the back. Konagawa delivers it across. Sam Ford. Sherry keeps it in and will send it, but only as far as Lee on the edge of the box. Lee. Still Lee. Lee beats 1 and 2, but Sherry gets across and then they'll send it long. And that's what we were talking about earlier on this evening, Matty, wasn't it? Dandenong Thunder just stopped playing for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's a lack of concentration, a lack of urgency, and a lack of desperation in and around the box. And they have these lapses of concentration, they switch off, and it seems to cost them from time to time. And I think it's definitely cost them here tonight.
Clark gives away a free kick. Cavallo knocks it diagonal to find Carpenter, and he's pulled up very gingerly there and holding his hamstring. But he seems to be fine. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Cavallo seems to be battling a little bit of cramp here down on this commentary side as Port Melbourne clear their lines once again. It almost seems like a bit of a formality now that Port Melbourne are going to walk away with all 3 points here.
If you're Adam Pitting, would you want to make sure your side sees out throughout with a clean sheet?
Yeah, definitely. I think you definitely want to keep a clean sheet. They've been unable to do that in their last 3 outings. So I think definitely a clean sheet is the goal here as they break forward.
Lee has failed to clear it. Kasheri. Scapetis with a bit of space. He can turn and run. He should have played for Zenian a little bit earlier, but he took one too many touches and the ball goes out. And that pretty much just sums out Dandenong Thunder's night this evening, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just lack of quality in the final third. It really sums up their night. But just poor defensive efforts too sometimes as Ute Konagawa goes for a gallop here down on this left-hand side.
He's just pretty much out-muscled there by Omar Amachi.
Yeah, and I think Omar Amachi, is probably one player that can keep his head high with his performance tonight. I think he's been excellent for Dandenong Thunder. He's been one of the few that have been excellent tonight. So I think well done to Omar Amachi. He's been excellent for Thunder, not only in this game, but all season.
Obviously 2 minutes left of the 5. So really, it's pretty much, if you're Adam Pitting, you'd think it's finished and wrapped it all up and you'd be happy with the win this evening.
Yeah, I think Adam Pitting will be more than happy with his with the result tonight as Port Melbourne will then move up to 8th position and join the 10-point club with a few other sides. So it's good to break away, I think, from those bottom 3 sides and create a little bit of distance, although it's a little bit early to be talking about relegation. I think you just want to keep it in the back of your mind and not in the front of your mind. So a good 3 points, I think, here for Port Melbourne, which almost seems like, like I said, a formality here.
Obviously, during the week, South Melbourne and Tangaloa just parted ways. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, obviously a change there, a bit of deja vu for South Melbourne. It was almost the same time last year that Sasha Coleman also departed the club. So, another coaching change at South Melbourne. I'm sure they want to ease the amount of changes they have, but it looks like Esteban Contes has taken on the role and will try and deliver some better results for South Melbourne.
As Dandenong Thunder break forward once again. Carpenter plays the ball behind, but Thunder with still good numbers forward. Mehmeti delivers and Symes will collect, and you'd think that it's pretty much over now and the Dandenong Thunder would have to be very disappointed with their performance tonight, Matty.
Yeah, not a great performance, a bit of a flat performance from Dandenong Thunder at their home ground, and probably 3 points dropped for them. But for Port Melbourne, it's another win, back-to-back wins off the back of their smashing of Hume City last week. So not only that, but the floodgates have opened for Port Melbourne. That's 9 goals in 3 games. So I think Adam Pittick will be happy with his side. Oh.
Sam Ford has just scored a goal, and Pierce Clark has let an absolute horrendous goal in. How has that gone in?
Yeah, well, Sam Ford whipping the shot in. It just seemed to have slipped under Pierce Clark as this game is officially, I think, now over. It's now 3-0 Port Melbourne and 3 points for Port Melbourne. And I think a really disappointing performance for Dandenong Thunder, but a very positive performance if you're Adam Pittick.
And obviously that's not the way you want to finish this game. Obviously 2-0, you potentially can take the positives out of the game, but that just puts a knife in the heart.
Yeah, definitely. I think that goal really sums up Dandenong Thunder's performance here tonight. It was flat, it was really uninspiring, and really it was riddled with just silly errors in their defensive half and poor decision making. So probably not the best performance from Thunder tonight, but you have to give credit to Port Melbourne. They were excellent tonight. They grinded out Dandenong Thunder. They made Thunder make those mistakes, and they were clinical when they did.
As Thunder get off us on the way, and Scapetis really hopefully shot as Bruno blows for full time here at Duckland Stadium. Port Melbourne run out 3-0 winners over the Dandenong Thunder. A very uninspiring performance by the Dandenong Thunder this evening, Matty.
Yeah, probably not their best performance, one they'll look to forget, but a great performance away from home from Adam Piddick. One thing that Port Melbourne struggled so far this season has been scoring goals, but they've scored 10 goals now in their last 3 games. So that front line is finally firing now for Port Melbourne as they look to replicate the success that they had last season, obviously with the finals berth and FFA Cup berth. So a great performance here by Port Melbourne, but probably not the best performance from Dandenong Thunder.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this live show this evening, and we'll love to see you next week on FFA. Thank you.